Hello, good afternoon viewers. Today we are here again with our Facebook live session, MR Solicitors, and today we have our guest with us, Ijaz Hassan. Ijaz Hassan is a commercial financial advisor and has been working with various banks, ample experience, over 12 years experience in banking and finance. So today we will ask him different questions in relation to whether it is commercial loan, buy-to-let loans, the recent schemes announced by the government, the bounce back loan or the C-bills, and all the other related financial matters. So whatever questions you have in relation to financial loans, commercial loans, buy-to-let loans, even trade finance, invoice finance, which we will explore more in our session. So the questions can come up, you can type here, or you can send us emails on info@m-rsolicitors.co.uk, and we will try to respond back as quickly as possible. Apart from that, as usual, immigration is going to be the hot topic again. So whatever questions you have in relation to immigration, you can send us your questions and we will try to respond to you ASAP. So to start with, Ijaz, if you can give us a little introduction yourself, and then we have few questions already lined up for you, and we can start like that.
Thank you for having me today. So, hello everyone, my name is Ijaz Hassan. I'm a commercial finance broker working for Acorn to Oaks Financial Services in the City of London, also a senior partner in Alpha Capital and Debt Advisory Services, also based in the City of London. Prior to this, I worked for two global banks in the City of London, Barclays and HSBC most lately. I was a senior commercial banker. I looked after businesses, notably the trading businesses going up to £100 million. I was a relationship manager supporting businesses with their finance requirements from banking and day-to-day queries as and when needed. Through my experience, and we will cover today, we will go over various loan options currently available to businesses right now. Some of the traditional products like commercial mortgages and invoice finance, trade finance, as well as the C-bill scheme and the bounce back scheme, which was an initiative from the government to kickstart the economy.
Thank you. So we have different various kinds of loans. A lot of people have heard about this bounce back scheme, and then the C-bills, the is it coronavirus business interruption, sorry.
Correct.
Loan scheme. So can you shed some light on that, what it is?
So you've got two options. So the C-bill scheme is for businesses. It was first introduced by the government. Is you can borrow between £50,000 to £5 million, providing you can afford it. The maximum you can borrow is 25% of your business turnover, subject to the business is viable and profitable by December 2019, and business must be in existence before 1st of March 2020. The purpose of the loan is to provide you with cash injections to get you through this sticky period. One thing to remember is the loan purpose is to support you with cash flow requirements. It is not there to provide or recover lost income. This is very, very important. A lot of businesses fail on this point when they're making the application with the lenders, is to remember that the loan's purpose is the only purpose is to support you through this period and not to provide salaries for yourself or help you recover the lost income. That's the main purpose of it.
Thank you. So we do understand there are other different kinds of loans to help businesses in normal circumstances, like you have already given me a list of those, and a few of them are like international trade finance, invoice finance and cash flow finance. So how a normal business person, a medium business person who's doing some retail kind of business,
Yep.
Some restaurant owner, so if you can elaborate with the examples, so what kind of finances are these and how do they work?
Good question. So the C-bill loan, just coming back to the C-bill loans. C-bill loans are government initiative whereby government is supporting by providing you a guarantee up to £250,000, meaning you do not have to provide any security either a tangible security, which is asset-backed, or a personal guarantee. However, if you are looking to borrow more than £250,000, you will be required to provide a personal guarantee and some form of asset-backed security, i.e. charge over a commercial premises, but not your main residence property. That's not allowed under the scheme. In contrast to some of the other products available, which is a more traditional products, commercial mortgages usually are for businesses who have been renting for a certain period of time, now in their position to expand and they want to acquire their own premises. They're no longer looking to pay rent anymore, so they can make an application to the lender and they can get up to 70 or 75% loan to value of the property. For example, if someone is looking to buy a property for £500,000, they probably need to have their own deposit, 30% deposit towards that. The rest will be covered by the bank in the form of a mortgage, which can be up to 20, 25, in some instances can be up to 30 years.
Right. So as we discussed about the cash flow and invoice finance, how, if I'm in a business and I want invoice finance, what is the criteria?
So invoice finance is mainly for businesses which are operating on credit terms with their clients. A prime example will be a recruitment firm. They receive payment from the clients they work with for providing labour 30 days or 60 days. They have a contractors who needs to be paid on a weekly basis. There's a shortfall in their cash flow. A lender can step in and they will buy the ledger from the business.
Right.
In return, they can release up to 85 or 90% of the value of the invoice.
Right.
Once they get paid from customer's client, they will settle the balance and remaining amount will be paid to the client. It's a very effective way of releasing cash, which usually is tied up into an invoice. This is another form of a overdraft facility,
right.
But it's more effective way of doing business as opposed to overdraft.
Right. And similarly, cash flow finance is a little different than that?
It is. Cash flow finance meaning the businesses which are very well established, they want to grow, and best way of growing their business is by acquiring another business in a similar field. And you can do that by borrowing money, and which we now call a management buy-in or buy-out or leverage finance, whereby a lender will support you up to 50% or 60% of the target acquisition value. The remaining has to be contributed by the owners themselves. The loan tends to be repaid quite aggressively, usually between 3 to 5 years. Most of the time will be debenture-led, which is a form of a security. Sometimes direct as PG, but often you do not require any tangible form of security. That's the beauty of it. But that tends to be for the more established businesses who've been around for a number of years. They've got very vast track record in the industry. Who can take on another business and they can make that success.
Right, right. And similarly, we have international trade finance.
International trade finance is mainly for businesses who are importing and exporting from other parts of the world. For example, you have wholesaler who's buying material from China, India, Pakistan, wherever it might be. They will have to make a payment in advance before the goods are landed. Typically, it's about 90 days trade cycle before the goods are arrived, sold, and recovered money. So with the trade finance, you can borrow money towards that. A bank or another specialist lender will step in. They will provide you cash, so you can pay your suppliers quite quickly, get the material in, sell it and repair back and settle the loan. You usually pay a small fee towards it. Best way to describe would be this is another form of a facility to facilitate your international trade.
So all those people who are doing business with other countries, trading, and they're getting their stuff from over there to sell here, so they can look into this facility, as well as all those people who are doing their businesses here, as Ijaz very clearly explained. You can go for cash flow, which is for those people who are in their businesses with some experience, a long-term business, and invoice finance is for those people who have a finance coming in, payment coming in, which is delayed, and you have to make urgent payments, so you can go for invoice finance. And there are other categories as well, which we will discuss. We have some questions as well. I'll take the immigration question first, and there are a few questions, and I have some inquiries already in front of me. So there was a question from Ireland from Mr. Arif. Welcome, Mr. Arif. Thanks for sending us this query. And your question is that you have spent some time here in the UK with your European sponsor. You did try by applying as an extended family member. Somehow your visa was refused. You did not get a permit, and then you went to Ireland. It is unclear whether you went to Ireland with your sponsor or not, and if you would like to come back now and you want to try again. Now the requirement is that you and your sponsor must have resided in Ireland, or at least you were financially dependent upon your European sponsor, who is, say, settled here in any other country of European states, but financially he has been supporting you. So either he has been staying with you in Ireland, or he has been funding you, financially supporting you, and now both of you are coming here, and then you will be able to make an application. Now this time, obviously, the requirements are that prior coming to the UK, wherever you were staying, in your case it is Ireland, you were dependent upon your European sponsor. So this advice is actually only for those who have European sponsors. This advice is not for those who have British citizen sponsor, because the advice is different for them. So don't try to mix up things. This is Regulation 8 case, where you can come back and you can make a new application on the basis. So if, for example, if you wanted to know whether you can make this application whilst you are in Ireland, yes, you can make an application whilst you are in Ireland, as long as, again, your sponsor is settled in the UK, he's exercising treaty rights here, and he has been supporting you financially whilst you were in Ireland. But there your status has to be legal when you're making this application from Ireland. However, if you come to UK and you make such application, there is no requirement of you being legally having visa here. So I hope this clarifies your query, but if you have further query, you can send us an email on info@m-rsolicitors.co.uk, and we'll try to respond ASAP. The other question we have is from Umar Zeb. Welcome, Umar. Your question is that sponsorship to your sister and brother-in-law for visit visa. Yes, anybody can send sponsorship letter to their relatives. You did mention that if you were in receipt of some kind of benefits or universal credit, there are different kinds of sponsorships. You see, even if there is no sponsorship, people staying in their country of origin, they can make an application for visit visa. It depends what is their purpose. So if their purpose is to come here and visit relatives, and they are saying we will stay with those relatives, then those relatives should provide them with a sponsorship letter in relation to accommodation. If you want to provide them funding as well, then the British High Commission would like to see that you have sufficient finance. So if you are already on benefits, then it will go against their application. But if they have their own resources, and they must show their own resources anyway, in their country of origin, they have to show their economic ties, their social ties, their family ties within the country normally, then they get this visit visa. So anybody can sponsor anyone, provided what is the purpose of that visit. Sometimes people, they just come, they don't have relatives, they do their hotel booking, they come for sightseeing, for shopping, and they go back. So you don't need any sponsor in that case. The next part of the question is if he wants to come over and set up a business here. As a visitor, no, you cannot set up a business here. You have to apply a business visa for that, and at the moment there's one category which we call sole representative of an overseas organization, which means that if he is working with an organization in his country of origin where he does not have majority shares, he's a minority shareholder or an employee at management level, then yes, that company has decided to open up a branch here, and they have decided that this person would be our sole representative in the UK, so he can come over here and he can continue the same business. The other category we have is the innovator-based visa. Innovator visa, they have kind of replaced with the entrepreneur visa, which was there for £200,000. but from last 2019 March they have stopped that, and this innovator visa has come up where you only require £50,000. However, your business has to have innovative idea. The business plan you need to present has to be a very innovative, back up with finances. As I said, £50,000. You should have experience in that category, or skills or education. The business plan has to be very viable, scalable, innovative. So they will endorse the business plan first. Once the business plan is endorsed from UK endorsed body, then he will apply visa. All this will be happening from his country of origin. There was a concession until 31st of July for all those visitors who were in the country and either their visa or entry was going to expire before 31st July. They were allowed to switch their visa to any of the categories, whether it was student or innovator or startup or marriage or work permit. But now from 31st July they have stopped. Home Office has given a grace period of 31 days. That is ending up 31st of August. Those people who now trying to go back after 31st of July at getting the tickets, getting the flights, and they're getting delayed. So the Home Office has given another 31 days as a grace period, and they have categorically said that it will not be extended unless they do extend it. So that is the latest as well in relation to immigration changes, that 31st August is the last date for those people whose visa or entry was expired anytime after 24th of January 2020, and the Home Office gave this concession valid until initially 31st May, and then they extended till 31st of July, and now the grace period until 31st of August. If you have further questions, please do send us and we'll try to respond. The other question we have probably related to you, Ijaz, and the question is that, is there new business start loan with low interest rates? I heard there is a government supported loan for new businesses. I'm not sure if it is correct information or not, so if there is anything, please let us know. So,
yeah, thanks for your question. Yes, there is a government scheme is run by a company called Startup Loans. You can apply up to £25,000. However, the loan will be under your personal name, not under the business. The rate typically starts around 6% based on your circumstances, but you can do the process online, relatively straightforward. There's very concise guidelines on their website. It will tell you and guide you through exactly what you need to fill in, what information you need to provide. Once everything is in, and the process is quite slick, you usually have money within 48 hours. But again, please remember this is under your personal name, so you will be personally liable for this money should the business fail.
well, I said, I hope you understand that the advice. If you have further queries, you can email us, as I said, info@n-rsolicitors.co.uk. Another immigration inquiry we have is, sir, I'm in the UK on tier 4, and that is from Mansoor Imtiaz Khan. Welcome, sir. So your leave will expire by 31st of August 2020, and you have already applied for EEA Extended Family Member Residence Card, which was refused, and your appeal is still in the process. If appeal gets refused after 31st of August, and I leave the UK and apply again, type 4, from home country, will I face any kind of ban? It is an important and interesting question. First of all, let me tell you that when we are making application under EEA regulations, and it is still a valid law or legislation until 31st of December 2020, and for some it still is valid until 30th of June 2021. So when we are making an application under EEA regulations, that is not an application for leave to remain under UK immigration rules. So for example, if you had tier 4 student visa valid until 31st of August and you did not get a visa now, and you do not get your appeal allowed as well, it is dismissed, and you leave after 31st of August, then yes, unfortunately you will be treated as an overstayer. And there is a ban of 1 year if you leave the country voluntarily with your own arrangements, 1 year ban. And if you take tickets and assistance from the Home Office, then the ban is for up to 3 years. Now, the grace period they give you is 28 days. So for an example, 31st of August your visa is expiring, so you have a grace period of 28 days, which means until 28th of September. So if you leave before 28th of September, you should be okay. If you make another application from abroad, you should be fine. However, if your appeal is allowed, then obviously they will grant you visa, and once they grant you visa and you make a further application under UK immigration rules, it is Home Office discretion to consider the time you have spent under EEA regulations, to consider that, and normally they do consider on the basis that if you did get a visa like you are expecting now, and on top of that your sponsor had been exercising treaty rights. So if one of them is missing, they still can refuse your visa. So this is a misunderstanding between so many people here, that they think if they have made an application under EEA regulations, it doesn't matter, their visa expired and we will be considered under immigration rules only if their resident permit is granted. If it is refused, consider your leave was expired as it was expired. So in your case, it would be 31st of August, unfortunately. So if you you need to consider your prospects of winning on appeal. Speak to your representatives clearly that what are the chances I have on appeal, because if you don't leave by 28th of September, you go after with a dismissed appeal in your hand, then yes, you will face a ban of at least 1 year. So I hope I answered your question, but if you still have further questions, do send an email and we'll get back to you. Okay, very informative. Okay, so yes, your information was very informative. We have some praising remarks. Thank you, Faisal, for the appreciation. So anybody else who have any questions, please do send us and we try to answer. So the other question is that those whoever visa was going to expire by 31st July have gotten grace period until 31st of August. Can they apply another visa by 31st August? Yes, they can. If they can show, now the Home Office has said that you must show why could not you leave and why cannot you leave by 31st of August. So the test has become a bit stricter. So you need to justify why you couldn't apply before, why you cannot apply, why you cannot leave by 31st of August when flights are becoming normal. So if your circumstances are as such that you cannot travel by 31st of August, yes, you may be able to make another application for extension. So it really depends. They said it will. They will consider case-to-case basis. There's another question. Mohammed Naveed, welcome. I have PR10. It's expected in 20 January 20th, but I am British also. What can I do if need to be on Pakistani passport? Can I do? I really didn't understand your question. It doesn't make sense to me. You say you have PR 10, so probably if you want to say you have permanent residence, indefinite leave to remain after 10 years, and you got this in January 2020, but I'm a British also. So if you are a British, how can you have now indefinite leave to remain? Can I do if I need to be on Pakistani passport? I don't know what you're trying to say, but if I understood correctly, that you have a British passport and you are asking me that on Pakistani passport if you want to have a stamp of PR or indefinite leave to remain, the answer is no. If you are a British national, you can be a Pakistani national or any other nationality, because UK allow dual nationality, but you cannot have at the same time indefinite leave endorsed whilst you are British national, because the indefinite you get first and then you get a British passport. So once you get British passport, it will be considered as void. However, if you're considering denouncing your British nationality, then yes, you can ask the Home Office to stamp as on your passport for indefinite leave to remain. They will ask you to provide them documents for at least 10 years that you have been legally resident here, which I'm sure you will be able to. But if this is not your question, please ask us clearly You can send us in what we call Roman Urdu style, and I'll read and I'll try to answer in Urdu as well. Right. So if more questions are coming, please let us know and we'll try to answer question. The other query I had was in relation to work permit. That the work permit points-based system, it's still the same system. The flexibility they have introduced now is to do with your income. The income threshold was higher, now it has been reduced up to £20,000 depending which category you are on. The other development is that the experience you required was level 6, which is like a degree level experience. They have reduced that to level 3, which is like A-level experience. So these are the two major changes. Then if you have a PhD degree and if you have PhD degree in STEM, meaning science and technology and English and maths, these subjects, then you get extra points. If you are getting a job in a category, the occupation is in the shortage of occupation list, then obviously you get extra points there as well. But this is wrong understanding, as one of the clients asked, that I can fulfill the criteria, I can get the points without even the sponsorship, the employer sponsorship. Will I get the visa? The answer is no. You have to have a sponsorship from the UK employer, and you have to have English test passed, and you have to have experience even though low level, and then the extra points. So these are the mandatory areas where you need to have score. If you can't have score there, you cannot apply for work permit. So getting a sponsorship from UK employer is starting point. Yes, the other question was about highly skilled workers. There is no announcement yet, but the migration committee, the immigration migration committee did propose to Home Office about this, and Home Office is considering this, and probably this is my own information, don't quote me on this later on. I'm just talking about from my experience that probably in March, April next year, or even before, Home Office may be announcing a category for highly skilled workers, like they used to have HSMP visas, similar like that. They have already announced the post-study work kind of category for those students who will come now and they will finish their graduation or master's degree after summer 21. They will be entitled to go for that 2 years work visa. The work permit, as I explained, it's still points based, little flexible. There is no announcement for low skilled workers because the Home Office thinking is that all those people who will come as work permit or later on as highly skilled workers, they will have their spouses, their children, their family with them who can still fulfill the low skilled categories if need be in the UK. So these are the updates so far. As I said, more question if you have, please keep sending us through email info@m-rsolicitors.co.uk. If you have any query, any information relating to your business finance, commercial finance, other areas we have discussed. The one area we could not discuss is buy to let scheme. So if you are interested to know about buy to let scheme, still you can ask us, or any other commercial loan for your business, do let us know and we'll get in touch with Ijaz and we'll be kind enough to explain it all over again via email. So I think that is the time to say bye now. Until our next Facebook session, we say goodbye, take care and stay safe. And thank you very much, Ijaz, for you taking your time out and coming here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks all. Bye-bye.
Bye.